Hello, today we're going to look at changing household composition within HMIS, and we're going to specifically look at individuals or families that you have already enrolled in your housing project and what to do if someone leaves or joins the household while they're enrolled. So we're going to jump over to the training site where we'll look at a few things. So here we are on our dashboard. We're in Client Point right now, and we're going to go ahead and search for a client. So we're going to go ahead and just use Client 52. And if we go to the Households tab, we will see that there are 3 individuals in the household. And let's say, for example, that someone is leaving the household. And I'm going to go ahead and change my back date really quick. Let's say they were enrolled on the 1st of January and now we're on the 10th and someone's leaving. Let's say client number 54, Lee, is leaving the household. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click on Lee so we're in his record, and we're going to go over here to the Entry Exit tab where he is currently enrolled in this permanent supportive housing project. And we'll go ahead and click on the exit date. And up here at the top, it shows everyone in the household. And as you can see, Lee is already checked because we're in his record. And he's the only one leaving. So we're not going to check John or Freddie. Now, obviously, if more people were leaving, you would go ahead and check the other individual. But it's just Lee who's leaving. So we're just going to select him only. We'll select that he's leaving for other housing. We'll say he's moving in with family. And we'll just hit save and continue. Okay, so now for Lee, we can see that he entered in on the 1st, and now he's left on the 10th. Now the second thing you'll need to do is you'll need to come over to the Households tab. You will select Manage Household, and we need to remove Lee from the household since he's no longer in the household. And so to remove someone from the household, we don't want to delete them, but to remove them, we can just go to this red circle with the minus sign next to their name. And as you can see, if you hover over it, it says Leave Household. So we'll select that. You can double check the date when they're leaving and hit save. And now we can see that there are only 2 in the family now. And if you click this arrow by previous household members, you can see who used to be there. This is important in case someone leaves and then they come back, because of course if someone comes back at a later date, you can go ahead and click this blue arrow and they will rejoin the household. And also, since our household composition has changed, up here at the top it says household type, which is a couple, parent and friend, and a child. Well, now that friend is gone, so it's just the parent and the child. So we're going to change this to male single parent. And then we'll hit save and exit. So we've exited the one person who left and we have changed the household. So that's what we need to keep in mind. But now you can see he's not part of a household at this time. Now if you go back to the head of household, and we can just double check here under households, we can see now there's just 2 in the household. And if you go over to the entry, you'll see that they are still in the project. Okay, now let's say, for example, that we have someone who entered the project by themselves. And so we'll click on client number 2, and we'll hop over to Households tab. We can see that this individual is not a member of a household, because with individuals, you do not create a household. And so let's say, for example, Lee is joining this household. We'll go ahead and use that. So let's change our back date again sometime in the future. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to add him to the household. So under the Households tab for client number 2, we will click Start New Household. And this is where you'll indicate what household type it is. And you can search for someone here by their name or their ID number. Or of course, if the person is not already in the system, you'll enter their information here, search for them, and then hit Add New Client with this information. So let's say Lee's joining. So we're going to change this from there was no household. So now we're going to say couple with no children. And I know his number is 54, I believe. Up, and there he pops up. So now down here in selected clients, we have our head of household number 2 and now number 54 that we've added to the household. And we'll hit continue. So now we've added him to the household. And we need to adjust the head of household in relationship to head of household up here at the top. So we'll go ahead and select that our number 2 is the head of household. And this other individual is significant other. And you'll also need to make sure that you check the information here in the household record. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And then I'm going to jump over to our new household member, number 54. Oops. Okay, number 54. And we'll scroll down and make sure everything's okay. Everything looks good, so we'll save and exit. So now we've added this individual to the household, and now we need to add him to the entry. So if we go over to the entry, we can see that our client ES Testerman, client number 2, started in the project on the 1st of January. We'll select the edit pencil by the project start date. And you can see up here that says no household members are originally associated. So there's an option where you can include them here. But I just want to show you that if you just go into the entry, here at the top it shows who's in the project. We have ES Testerman, and right under that we have a tab for include additional household members. So we can go ahead and click that now. And we can see our added individual that joined on the 19th. We'll go ahead and select his. We'll check mark him, and then we'll hit save and continue. Now up at the top, it's going to automatically plug in the project start date for our new household member as the same date that the entry was started. But we can just click this edit pencil and change that. So since he joined the household on the 19th, we're going to go ahead and cancel that. Okay, edit pencil. Yeah, we're just going to change the date up here to the 19th. And now you can see that ES Testerman started on the 1st and Lee joined the household on the 19th. And I'm just going to save and exit. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that when you are going back into the entry and clicking on this edit pencil for any other reason, moving forward, whether you're just looking at information or you're editing something that should have been there from the beginning, you want to be sure that you don't select both household members. Up here now you can see that we're in the original client record that started on the 1st of January. But if we select the new household member as well and then hit save and continue, it's going to change our new household member's date to the 1st as well. And he didn't join on the 1st, he joined on the 19th. So that's the one important piece to remember is don't check this box when going into the entry since he has a different entry date. But once you do go into that entry, you will be able to see that he is part of that entry and he's part of the household, but he has a different project start date. So please keep that in mind as you are moving forward. And also one thing to keep in mind too is that say you have a household and someone leaves that household, but they're still in your project. Let's say, for example, that both are eligible for your project and they were in the same household, but now they've had a disagreement, they've split up, they're getting a divorce, whatever the case may be, but they're still going to remain in your project. In that case, you don't need to exit them from the project. You just need to remove them from the household. This way that they'll each have their own separate entry that's still correct, but you're just removing one person from the original person's household. And so we had just gone over that in the beginning. And just make sure that you document that in your notes as you move forward when you are removing someone, but they're staying in the project. You just want to keep track of that. And also, when you are adding someone to a household in your project, they are becoming part of the household. So therefore, their income does count toward household income and to their calculation for their rent contribution every month. And they are part of the case management piece. They're part of the full spedats that are done because they are part of the household. The household then is you're working with the whole household now on case management and housing stability and moving forward to make sure that they can be stable, especially in rapid rehousing, as the case manager will slowly get them to the point where they can be independent and stably housed on their own, and the subsidy can pull out. And so just keep that in mind when someone joins the household, that they are now part of the project. They're part of the household and they're part of that case management piece. Even if they don't have the original eligibility criteria, they're part of the household now. And so their income does count and they need to be part of the case management piece as well. Okay, so that's it for today for adding someone to a household and removing someone from a household and from the entry. If you have any questions, you can contact us at HMIS help@WVCEH.org.